Hi, I'm Karen, the owner of the Etsy shop Saffron Printables, where I sell printable and digital planners and digital stickers. I created this meal planner in Google Sheets to be easy to use, and I'm going to use this video first to walk you through some of the key features and then a quick how to use the planner. I have several Google spreadsheet planners in the shop. They are different colours, but they all work in the same way, and this is the sage green version. When you purchase the meal planner from Etsy, you will be able to download a PDF. This is the PDF here, and it has a link to the Google Sheets template. If you don't already have a free Google Sheets account, you'll be prompted to sign up. You do need a Google Sheets account to be able to use this planner. Let's just show you that. You'll be prompted to create a copy, and then you just click the blue button. This creates a copy and puts a copy into your Google Drive account. I do recommend that you make a duplicate of the meal planner just in case something goes wrong. I'm not sure what, but just in case something does. And the way you would do this, let me just maximize this, is come up here to File, make a copy, and then you could call it meal planner spare copy, or whatever you wanted to call it. So when you've got your copy, you'll see there are several tabs here on the bottom. If you can't see them all, you can scroll right and you can scroll left. The first tab is instructions, which includes this instructions video if you want to refer back to it. This is the main meal planner tab, and this is the tab you'll always want to use. So you may make copies of a week's planner. For example, if you'd filled out the whole planner for the week and you wanted to save it to use for another week, you can make a copy, and you would do that by right-clicking on the tab, selecting duplicate, and then come along to where it says copy and then rename it. And I suggest you rename it to the month. There we go there, so we have a copy. I'm just going to delete that out, right-click delete, because we don't need that now. But whenever you come to work on the meal planner for the week, you always need to be working on this sheet here. And the reason for that is the mobile grocery list actually works only from this sheet. So if you made a copy, it wouldn't pick up the items from that sheet. So always work from this main sheet here. The way the meal planner works is we just come here to the day and the meal where we want to add something, and we click here on this down arrow, and we can pick items from this list. So let's get straight to the top and add this one. Now say I wanted to add a side, so I'm having a raspberry protein smoothie for my breakfast, but I also want to add some strawberries. So again, I just click on sides and add strawberries. As well as strawberries, you may want some other sides. I've included some extra rows for sides. They're just collapsed down at the moment, so you can't see them. To see them, we press this black square with the white arrow here on the left of the sheet, and you'll see 3 extra rows. You can also add in more rows if you want to. Maybe you're making a Thanksgiving dinner and you've got loads and loads of extra sides. So the way you would do this is you would come to one of the rows, and I suggest you select a row that's in the middle. Select the whole row just by clicking on the number of the row here. Right click, insert one row below, and then you can name it whatever you want to name it. And then we've added an extra row. If you're going to add lots of extra sides, I recommend you do this to start with before you do anything else in the meal planner, because it's going to complicate things when you come to copy sheets later on. So if you think you're going to need more sides than that 4 I've given you, just come along before you start using the meal planner and add those sides in. So we can collapse this again if you don't want to see it, just to make it look a bit tidier. I've included a notes row here because our schedule often determines what we're going to eat for the days. For example, I might be visiting my mum, and I know on that day I won't be at home, so I want to get lunch out. I don't know what I'm going to eat when I'm out, but I do know where. So what I'll do is I'll come in and I'll add an extra item. So I'm just going to put visit mum. So that reminds me that on that day I'm visiting mum. And on lunch, I want to add an extra item. So the item I want isn't there. I want to introduce you now to these tabs at the bottom, We've got a breakfast tab, lunch, dinner, theme, snacks, scroll along a bit, sides, drinks, and grocery items. When you first come to set up your planner, you want to come into these tabs, and for each meal or side or drink, you want to add in the favourite recipes and meals. So it's going to be a little bit of work to start with, just adding in the things you eat on a regular basis. Here we have a recipe that has a link to the website, and you could add in some notes. So I've just added some nutritional information there. Or it could just be something you eat that you don't need a recipe for, so kefir. And again, I might put nutritional information there, or I might not bother with anything. The only thing you need to do is put your recipe or meal name here to start with. You might have a recipe that isn't online, it's actually in a book. I have a favourite recipe which is cottage pie. I know who the chef is, who has written the recipe. I've got several of her cookbooks, but I can never remember which cookery book of hers it's in. So here I've put the name of the cookery book, and I've actually put the page on it. So hopefully that'll help you quickly find the recipes you need. And here I've added a Pinterest pin, so this takes us straight through to Pinterest. A lot of the meal planners out there actually have recipes, and you have to put all the ingredients into the meal planner as well to create the grocery list. But I didn't feel I needed that in a meal planner. I've already got the recipes online on my Pinterest board or in my recipe books, and I didn't want to come in and have to add a lot of ingredients in here before I started using the planner. With this planner, you just put your recipe in, the meal name or the food. Thinking back to the notes, the fact that I'm visiting my mum, so I wouldn't be able to have lunch at home, and I don't know what I'm going to have for lunch, but I do know where I'm going to buy my lunch. So I would put in here food centre sandwich, excuse the capitals and the English spelling. So that's now in the lunch section. So I would come along to this week's meal planner, and then for lunch I would select main. And up here, if you've got a big long list, you don't want to necessarily be scrolling down, so you just start to type in the food. There we go, food centre sandwich, and that's added it in. I've also included this row called themes. It's one of the strategies in meal planning. If you tend to get a lot of decision fatigue, you just can't work out what to eat when you're trying to think of what to cook every day, it can be really useful to have theme days. For example, I've got one here. Let's have a look at the themes I've added in. Meat-free. So you might decide to have a meat-free day, and then all you have to decide is what meat-free meals to eat, rather than having to decide out of everything that you could possibly cook. Themes are all in this tab, so you can add in your own themes. This is the grocery list here. You can just add in grocery items from a list you've already created here in these tabs. You do have to put these grocery items in yourself, but once you've set it up, so there's a little work to set it up to start with, but once you've set it up, you've got them there for the future. Let's go back to meal planner. With the grocery items, you can change these headings. If you're, say, vegetarian or vegan and you don't want meat, you could change that. Let's change that to legumes. And then if we come to grocery items here, you see it's updated the title there from the legumes that we've just put in. This is another reason you always want to work on this sheet here, because the grocery items headings are picked up from these headings on this list. I've got an example here that I've created, just so you don't have to sit there and watch me add lots of items. And I want to copy these into my this week's meal planner list. You might do this, you've saved a previous meal planner from another week. So you would come here, you would select B39 down to B81, then right click and copy, then come back to the main meal planners sheet, select B40 and then just do paste. And that has added in all those items from the previous week. Now if we look at the mobile grocery list, you see all those items are now in the mobile grocery list. We don't want to touch this up here because this is the calculation that picks these items up from the meal planner there. This is designed to look good on a mobile phone, so you would use the Google Sheets mobile grocery list app, and whilst you're out at the store you can just click off the items that you've bought. And if we come here, and then at the end of the week, if you want to reset it, I tend to buy the same things in a week, so I would probably leave the grocery list and just delete off anything I didn't want. So if you just come in here and press delete, and then I could add in something else. But if you wanted to delete them all, you would just again select that field, backspace, and then that deletes them all. Make sure you don't delete these headings, just delete these rows down from B40 to J82, delete, but it keeps all the formatting in there for you. Let's say you've come home from the shops and you've bought everything you need and you want to come in and just reset these to unbought, if that's a word. You can just come in here and click. The other thing you can do is click on this one. Just click outside the checkbox, grab this blue dot here and drag it down. And there we go, that has reset them all for you. Let me just copy this example here. I'm just selecting all of this table down to this cell here, Command C, and then come up here, Command V. If I wanted to copy the data from a previous week into this main week's planner, the one we should always be working on, I do need to be careful of one thing, and that is that if I've added any extra rows for sides, it has to be the same on this planner as it does on the one I'm copying from. Just to give you an example, so this one I'm copying from, I've actually got 5 sides. I added an extra row. So let's just do a copy, and then we come back to this week's meal planner and we'll do a paste. And as you can see, it's gone a little off kilter. So I've got chili con carne there as sides. I've got black coffee in notes, and that's because I have fewer rows in this table than I did in this one. And the way to fix that, let me just do Command Z to get rid of that, is just come in here, insert a row above, then do the copy, and now you see it's all where it should be. So chili con carne is a main, chicken Bordeaux salad is a main. That's only if you add an extra row into sides. If you don't bother doing that, you don't have to worry about this. It's just something to note. If you wanted to print it, you come up to File and then Print, making sure you've selected the paper size you want, that it's landscape, and that you do fit to page, and then you could print it out if you needed to. Okay, I hope you found that walkthrough useful. If you have any questions, do please get back to me. Thank you.